no gold is not enough.
Hello, good day, and welcome to Chris Ed Vlog. So for those who don't know me yet, I'm Mr. Christopher Padlan, and I'm teaching at Mabalbalino National High School, specifically for teaching English for grade 8 and grade 10. So for today's lesson, we will be dealing with using appropriate documentation. So today's lesson or topic is dedicated primarily for grade 8 students, but I think college or if you are a student in any year level, I think you can relate to this because somehow you are meeting a lot of documentation. So we will be dealing with that one by one later on. But before I proceed, I would just like to thank Ma'am Rowella for subscribing, Ma'am Claire for subscribing, my brother Lloyd for sharing and subscribing. Thank you very much. And to Mom Ethel for subscribing. So if you want this video, or if you did like this video, please click the subscribe button and click like. So without further ado, let's proceed to reading the most essential learning competency. So for this lesson, the competency is use conventions in citing sources. Okay. So my KUD objectives for this educational vlog or video lesson is first to define the meaning of documentation. Then the next one is to define the meaning of modern language association or MLA. And the last one is to define the meaning of American Psychological Association. And the next one, the next objective is to explain simple documentation rules in parenthetical citation, bibliography, and direct quotations. And the last one, we will be applying it. So to employ documentation style guidelines in MLA and APA formats. Next, so we proceed to our springboard session. So for this springboard session, the title of this is Meme React. So basically, I'll be showing you pictures of memes or memes or meme, and you just need to react. Whether you like it, you love it, you make fun of it, your response is an emoji of haha, or a yay, a wow, sad, or angry. So for this springboard session, there's no correct or wrong answer. Just react according to what you feel appropriate for a particular meme. Okay? So, can we do it? Let's proceed. Okay, so the first meme is, I think if you're watching Marvel movies. So MLA, APA, Captain America Civil War. So is it like, love, haha, yay, wow, sad, or angry? Okay, next. We have the second meme. Learned MLA format over and over in high school. Now, professor only accepts APA. Okay. So is it like, love, haha, yay, wow, sad, or angry? So please comment your answers or your reactions in our comment box. Okay? Next. APA format. Why use so much more complicated than MLA? Is it like, love, haha, yay, wow, sad, or angry? Next. I notice you don't cite your sources. I too like to live dangerously. Okay. Is it like, love, haha, yay, wow, sad, or angry? So this is just my natural reaction for this meme. So you don't need to follow my reaction. Just follow what you feel appropriate. Okay? The next 5. when you turn in your paper and realize you use MLA, not APA? Is it like, love, haha, yay, wow, sad, or angry? I think this is the last meme. Springboard session, the meme react. So basically, what is the reaction that you had the most? Is it like, love, haha, yay, wow, sad, or angry? Or are you confused what to react? Because basically for memes, in order for you to react on these memes, it should somehow connect to you, right? It should be relevant to you. And of course, if you are not yet familiar with the documentation, the memes are difficult to actually comprehend. And I understand that. But the very reason why I showed you, or why we had this Springboard session meme react, and I have shown you memes of APA and MLA, is that because most of the students, even college students, have this kind of notion that documentation is difficult. Yes, it is difficult at first in learning it if you're not yet familiar to it. But as you study documentation, you will realize that it is actually easy. It is just you're not familiar with the format. And of course, there are a lot of documentation styles. There is APA, MLA, even Turabian or the Chicago format. But for today's lesson, we will only be focusing on MLA and APA. So I hope that for this educational video, you will be enlightened that learning documentation is actually not difficult, but it just needs familiarization, especially with the format. Because for today, in order for you to be successful in learning this educational vlog, you need to practice identifying, or you need to practice using APA and MLA from the different sources that you will be using, and using the guidelines that we will be tackling for today. So let us proceed to the next slide. So we start this lesson with the Springboard session, and let's go with our first objective, and that is to know the definition of documentation, MLA, and APA. So we start with documentation. So what is documentation? Documentation, material that provides official information or evidence, or that serves as a record. So the keywords here, documentation is actually a material that you actually provide wherein there is an information that serves as a record, and this record serves also not just an evidence, but also a way for you to make your statements become reliable, become strong, and become persuasive. The next one is, the second definition is the evidence provided for information and ideas borrowed from others. So documentation is basically trying to use ideas of others and trying to put that in your statement, or to your writing, or to your speech, but never forgetting to acknowledge your sources. So documentation basically is presenting an information wherein you actually acknowledge, or you name the person, the entity, or the institution, or the group where that information came from. Okay? So next, now we go to Modern Language Association, or MLA. So it is the standard format for papers, articles, and books in the arts and humanities. So this is the documentation that is actually followed by arts and humanities, and it uses footnotes and endnotes for additional information as part of its format. Okay, so that is modern language association. It is used by arts and humanities, and it uses footnotes and endnotes as part of its format. The next one is American Psychological Association, or APA. So if MLA is used by arts and humanities, for Psychological Association or American Psychological Association, it is the style used by teachers in business and the social sciences. Okay, so it's specifically for business and social sciences, and it uses endnotes as part of its format. Okay, so now we proceed to documentation guidelines. But before that, let us first understand why do we need to document, right? Why it is important for us to document. So basically, the very reason why we need to document or to do documentation is to avoid plagiarism. Okay, it is not actually wrong to use information or ideas from others, but make sure that you acknowledge them or you properly acknowledge them. So in acknowledging them or in trying to use information from others, there are formats to be followed when you use that in writing. Okay, you can actually choose whether you will apply APA or MLA. So again, why we need to use documentation? It's because we don't want to be accused with plagiarism, and at the same time, we want to use information in a manner that is actually very academic. Okay? So it is actually unprofessional for you to use information of others without acknowledging them, or just plainly saying that all of your statements came only from you. Okay, so that is actually wrong. Okay, so we proceed to the guidelines. So the first one, how to do parenthetical citation. So as you can see on my left side, in our left side, this is the MLA column, and on our right side is our APA column. So we can see format and examples here in our left side or left column for the APA, and we can see examples and formats for the APA in the right side. So that it would be easier for us to identify the difference of MLA and APA. So the first one for APA, the parenthetical citation format is, it's either you choose, okay, whether the first one, which is author and page, or the second one, which is author and title. But for APA, it only has one parenthetical format, and that is author and date. And as you can see, both MLA and APA are separated with or their parenthetical citation format is actually separated with a comma. Okay, so here's an example: Aquino, comma. So we will just be using in parenthetical citation the surname. Okay, so Aquino, comma 244. So evidently this is an example of author and page. And another example here, Aquino using MLA style. So Aquino is again the author, and using MLA style is the title of the probably a book. Okay, so that is here, or that is this one, the title. While here for APA we have Padlan, which is the surname, and 2020, which is the date. So for the date, you'll be just be using the year. Okay, so here's an example in a full parenthetical citation format. So you will be using, or you will be writing the information that you need, and at the end of that information, you will put there an open parenthesis, and then the surname, the comma, and the year or title if it is MLA. Now for APA, same, you need to write the information that you need, and then after that, open parenthesis, and then we have there the surname, the comma, and the year or date, and then close parenthesis. So please, you should not forget the all the needed format for MLA and APA. Whether it is only parenthesis or comma, you need to be keen on this and you need to follow it strictly. Okay? So here, for important notes, as you can see, for the MLA, author means the last name of an author. And page means the page number where the information came from. So you will only write there the inclusive pages or page or pages where the information is rooted from. Okay? Title means the shortened version of the title. Okay. And then next, for the APA, author means the last name of an author. So same. And then date means the year where the information was published. So I hope that we are clear with our parenthetical citation. If you have question, please comment it down and I'll try to answer that. Okay. And proceed to the next slide. So we go to how to do bibliography. So what's the difference of bibliography from parenthetical citation? So parenthetical citation is actually used, or it can be seen in the body itself of a writing or write-up, while bibliography is actually done or seen after a write-up. So that must be clear that bibliography is not something that we do inside a writing or write-up. It is done after. So now we proceed to the different guidelines of MLA and APA. So the first one, in terms of names. For MLA, it is actually called works cited. So bibliography for MLA is works cited. While APA is, the name code for bibliography is references. So works cited for MLA, references for APA. The next, the second and succeeding lines are always indented 5 spaces. Now for APA, it states here that all lines after the first line of each entry should be indented 1/2 inch from the left margin. So both actually explain that the first line is not indented, but the second and the succeeding lines for the bibliography should be indented. For MLA, the indentation is 5 spaces. For APA, the indentation is 1/2 inch from the left margin. The next, the sources are listed alphabetically by first word or surname of author. The first word or name should be the one used in parenthetical citation. For APA, it says here, the reference list should be alphabetized by author's last names. So both explain that in doing bibliography, it should be arranged alphabetically. And states here, this first word or name should be the one used in parenthetical citation. So actually, both MLA and APA applies the ruling that whatever surname that appears in the bibliography should be reflected on the parenthetical citations used in the body of a text or write-up. So if the surname that appears in the bibliography is Padlan, the first surname that appears is Padlan, it should always be reflected in the same manner in the parenthetical citations used in the writing. So Padlan also should be seen there. So that's the ruling in this second guideline for bibliography. Now we go to the examples. So we start with books. So we start with MLA. It says here, Montano, comma, Caitlin, period, How to Direct Action Films, period, Manila, colon, New Day Eve Publishing, period, 2015, period, print, period. Now, for APA format for books, we have Reagan, comma, M, period, D, period, open open parenthesis, 1992, close parenthesis, and then Curing the Crisis, Options for America's Healthcare, period, Boulder, comma, CO, colon, and then Westview Press. So the difference we have here, as you can see, for MLA, Montano Caitlin is in full. Okay, it is written completely. But for APA, as you can see, the surname only appears to be complete, while the other names is in a format of initials. So that's the first difference of doing bibliography from MLA and APA. The next, the title, this How to Direct Action Films, is actually italicized. So titles for MLA should be italicized. Then after that, a period. But for APA, as you can see, after the name is the date of publication. So it is actually inside an open and closed parenthesis, and then you put period after the closing parenthesis. Okay? Then Curing the Crisis, Options for America's Healthcare is the title, and the same with the MLA, it is done in italic. The next, we have here Manila, then colon. Manila is the city, or here at the next part of the format for books, we have there the city or the state where the book is published. So for the MLA example, we have here Manila. Then after that, you put a colon. Now for here in APA, we have here the city Boulder, then comma, the state here, the CO, the initial state, and then the colon. Okay? Now we go to the next one here. For MLA, colon, then the next one is the New Day Eve Publishing. So the name of the publisher is written after the colon, and then you put there the period. Now, for the APA format, as you can see, we have there Westview Press. So also the name of the publisher is written after the colon. Okay? But for MLA, it doesn't stop there from the name of the publisher. After that is the date of publication, which is 2015, or the year of publication 2015, then period, and you put there the word print, and then another period. So I hope that we are clear with the difference on how to do bibliography for books in a format of MLA and in a format of APA. Now we go to encyclopedia. So same, the name is in a complete form, Santos, comma, Gay, period. And then there is an open quotation mark, Filipino languages, period, then closing quotation mark. The New Encyclopedia Britannica, colon, Micropedia, 12th edition, 2007, period, and print, period. Now, for the APA format, we have here Bergman, comma, P, period, G, period, open parenthesis, or opening parenthesis, and then 1993, closing parenthesis, then period, relativity, period, in the New Encyclopedia Britannica, then open parenthesis, or opening parenthesis, volume 26, comma, pages, period, 501 to 508, closing parenthesis, period, Chicago, colon, Encyclopedia Britannica. So let us check the differences. So as you can see, we apply the same ruling. We complete the name. Same also with APA. Only the surname is complete, but the other names are in a form of initials. But the difference is that the title here for books is italicized, but here for encyclopedia it is inside the opening and closing quotation marks. Okay, so it is not italicized, and there is still a period there. Okay, but here the title is italicized. Okay, So for MLA, it is put inside an opening and closing quotation marks. While here, we apply the same ano. For relativity, that is the title of the book. But as you can see, it is not italicized. For encyclopedia, the italicized part is in the New Encyclopedia Britannica, which is the title of the encyclopedia or the name of the encyclopedia. Okay? The next, after that, after the Filipino languages, we have there the New Encyclopedia Britannica. So, the New Encyclopedia Britannica is not italicized compared to the name for the name of the encyclopedia in the APA format. Okay? And then after that, we will put a colon. Then after the colon, the name of the publisher, and then the edition. If there is a given edition or the edition is stated in the encyclopedia, you write it there. And then you put period, then 2007, period, print, then period. Now, for encyclopedia and APA, after the name of the encyclopedia, we include also the volume and pages, okay, where you got the title or the information, okay? So, opening parentheses, and then volume, the shortcut form or contracted form, and then 26, volume 26, comma, pages 501, 508, closing parentheses, and then period. And then you have there the city or the state where it is published. And then you put colon, and then you put the name of the publisher. So, you know, at first it is difficult to observe all of this, but you just need to familiarize yourself with the format. Or if you cannot memorize it in an instant, of course, you can actually write in a piece of paper the format, and then time to time when you do documentation, you can refer to that, and that makes the work easier than to think of the format. Are you getting what I mean? Okay, so it would really help if you have a list in a piece of paper of the format, so that if you will document your sources, it would be easier for you. Okay, so now we go to the next examples. Okay, now we proceed to how to do bibliography for magazine articles, newspapers, online sources, and multimedia sources. So we start with the magazine articles. So we start with MLA. Let me read it to you. We have De La Cruz, comma, Fred, period, opening, quotation mark, Hachiko, period, closing quotation mark, Japan News and World Report, period, 20 March 2013, colon, 55, period, and then print, period. For the magazine article, for the APA format, we have Henry, comma, W, period, A, period, comma, the third, period, opening parenthesis, 1990, comma, April 9, closing parenthesis, period, Beyond the Melting Pot, period, time, comma, 135, comma, 28 to 31, period. So, as you can see, we apply the same with regards to the name. It is in a complete format. It is spelled out, and then the period. Same with the first two examples, or the second example, which is the encyclopedia, wherein the title is inside the opening and closing quotation mark. And please don't forget the period. And then Japan News and World Report is actually the title of the magazine, and then we put the period, and then the 20 March 2013 is the publication date, and then we put the colon to separate publication date from the page. Okay, and then after the page we will put period, and of course the word print, and then another period. Now for the APA format, we have here the name of the author, only the surname is spelled out, the rest are in initials, and then we put period, and then opening parenthesis, the date of publication, and then closing parenthesis, we have there the period. Beyond the Melting Pot is the title of the magazine article, and then we put the period and time. It is actually italicized. This is the name of the magazine, so the name of the magazine will be italicized, and then comma, the volume number, which is 135, and then comma, and then 28 to 31 period is the inclusive pages. Okay, so we are now clear with doing bibliography for magazine. Now we proceed to how to do bibliography in newspapers. So Godinez, comma, Chris is the name of the author for the MLA format, and then we put the period, and then opening quotation mark, Japan needs Filipino soldiers, period, closing parenthesis is the title of the newspaper or the newspaper article. Let me make that clear. Then we proceed to bulletin today, which is the name of the newspaper, and then period 22 Jan, period 2011, that is the date of publication, and then of course we have the colon, A7 is the page number, and we have period and then the word print, then period. Now for the newspaper, for the APA format, we have the, how do you pronounce this? I think it's similar to Schwarzenegger. So Schwartz, comma, J, period, the name of the author, and then we proceed to the date of publication, wherein it is inside an opening and closing parenthesis, and then please don't forget period, and then we go to obesity affects economic, comma, social status, that is the title of the article, and then period. The Washington Post is actually the name of the newspaper. It is italicized, as you can see, and then we put comma, and then PP or the pages, period, A1, comma, A4, period. So the inclusive comes last for, inclusive pages comes last for this format for the newspaper. So next, we go to online sources. So Mejia, comma, Mejia, comma, Susan May, comma, is the name of the author, and then the life of Martin King is the name of the article, and then we put there period. Okay, the next, Susan May Mejia is the name where, or the title of the website or the online source where you got the information about the life of Martin King. So for example, the name of that website is Susan May Mejia, so you put it there, and then comma, and then 2005 period, and then web period, and then 24. This 2005 is the date where you actually the date where this article was published. Okay, so let me clear that out. 2005 is the date of publication of this online source. Then you put period and then web period 24 February 2015 period is the date of what do you call this? The date where you retrieve this information, or the last date where you open this website. Okay, so you will include it there. For example, you open it, the last time that you open this article is today, you will write there the date of for example, today. So after that, the date of the retrieved date, we go to, of course, the period and then the URL. You copy everything in the URL and then you put it after the period. Now, for the APA format, Hiltz, comma, P period, J period, the name of the author, and then the date of publication, 1999, February 16, And then of course it is inside an opening and closing parentheses, and then of course the period. And in forecasting their emotions, most people flunk out. That is the title of the article in that particular website, and then you put period. New York Times is the name of the website, for example. Okay, so you put it there, and then after that you put period, and of course retrieve. So you put there retrieve, the word retrieve, and then the date where you actually, or the date where you retrieve the information from this particular website. So November 21, for example, comma 2001, and then you put there comma, and from, you put from there and then space, okay? And then you put the entire URL, okay? So that's it for the online source. Now we go to the last one, the multimedia sources. So we start now with the MLA. So Yasmin, comma, Yali, and Teripo, period, the name of the authors, and then email etiquette, the name of the particular multimedia, and then it is actually inside an opening and closing parenthesis, quotation marks rather, and then of course the kind of multimedia, which is a chart, you put it there, and then period, news today, the source of that multimedia, and then the source of that multimedia content, and then after that the news today you put period, and then the date of publication, and then colon, the page, and of course period, and then the word print. Now for radio or television program, for the APA format, we have here Crystal L, and then the designation of that person, and then period, it is inside the opening and closing parentheses, and then another, after the period we go to the date where that particular radio television program aired. So 1993, October 11, inside a opening and closing parentheses, and then the period. As you can see, the name of the, or the title of the program, the McNeil Lehrer News Hour television broadcast, is italicized, and then you put their period. Then of course New York and Washington DC, that is where that particular radio television, it is the place where that radio or television program was transmitted, and then the colon, and then the name of the broadcaster or the one who aired it, Public Broadcasting Service. So that's how we do bibliography for MLA and APA. So at first probably you cannot digest everything at once, but as I've said earlier, it is better, or it is best that you have this, what do you call this, a list or a paper wherein the format is listed there, so that every time that you do documentation, you can actually look at it and familiarize yourself until you master it. So please don't be confused, or don't be frustrated, that's the word, frustrated, if you cannot master it at once, because I myself also cannot, or still don't master this, but since I have a copy of my format, I can always refer and check it whether I'm unsure for a particular format. So there are other kinds of format that I did not include because probably it's no longer probably it is something that we probably don't encounter, or many of us don't encounter those other formats, but you can actually check it out. Okay, so you can visit MLA or Modern Languages Association to check their format, their full format, and same also with the APA. You can check the whole format for APA in their website, or if you have a copy of your module there, if there's a complete list there, so you can refer to that, but I I firmly suggest, or I suggest that you visit their website because it is complete. Okay? So now we go to doing direct quotations. Okay, we go to how to do direct quotations. So the first ruling here, always introduce the quotation with your own words. Introduce the author before the quotation. And in this style, the sentence will always support the previous sentence in your paper. So direct quotations from source must be enclosed with quotation marks. So the first ruling is that you need to first introduce the author before you use the statement that you want to quote. Okay? Then after that, what's next? Of course, do not forget to enclose it or use opening and closing quotation marks before and after the statement of the author. So here we have examples for the MLA and APA. You have the according to Hai, comma, the members of the provisional government representing the whole Vietnamese people, and then closing quotation mark 321. And here for the APA format, according to Hai, and then opening parenthesis, we have the 2005, closing parenthesis, comma, the members of the provisional government representing the whole Vietnamese people, and then closing quotation mark, and then the page. As you can see, it is we have their opening parenthesis, and then the page, and then the 321, and then closing parenthesis. So the difference is that, as you can see for A, it has the year of the publication, or the year where this statement was published. So it is beside the surname of the author. Okay, and both actually uses introduction before the statement of the author. Okay, and the difference is that here for MLA, you just simply write 321, and it means the page, okay, where this particular statement came from. But here for the APA, you need to put the P and then the period, as we refer to it as page, and then of course the number, the 321, which is the page itself, okay, the page number itself, and then closing parenthesis. So that's it for doing direct quotations. It's simple. It's different from parenthetical citation, because parenthetical citation doesn't need for you to make an introduction, and of course to create a quotation, to use quotation marks. But here for direct quotations, as direct quotation, we really need to use quotation marks, and of course apply an introduction first, and then we should not forget the ending part, which is to include the page. Okay, so now, okay, so we are at the last objective of this video lesson, and that's to employ what we have learned. So as you can see here, we have the details, and of course a column for works cited for MLA, and references for APA. So these details are actually came from a book. Okay, so the thing that you're going to do for this activity is to make a bibliography in MLA and APA format. So I expect that probably, of course, it is not easy to master this lesson, and the answer for this activity will be shown after the reality check. So you have time to go back to the video lesson and to check whether you're doing it correctly. Okay, you can do that. Okay, so the next activity is, we have actually two activities. So the second activity is again, here is the details, or here are the details, and of course the column for MLA and the column for APA. So for this activity, you will be doing the direct quotation. So in MLA format and APA format. The same with the first activity. The answers for this second activity will be shown after the reality check. So I expect that you will do this honestly and with integrity so that this will become more fruitful to every one of us, okay? Especially you, learners who are actually learning this particular topic, okay? So let's proceed to the last part of this video lesson, and that is the reality check. Okay, so now we proceed to the questions for this reality check. So as a student, do you think it is important for us to learn documentation? If you agree that it is important, comment down your answer. And if you do not agree, please feel free to still comment down your answer. Okay? And for the second question, do you have any experience or have you experienced a situation wherein a person was the statement of a particular person was used by another person but did not acknowledge that person? Or have you experienced wherein you have this original statement that really came, or it was created by you actually invested time, effort, and of course brain cells, and of course all the knowledge that you know, and create a statement, and then suddenly you found out that there's a person who used that statement and did not acknowledge you, as if that statement really came from that person. So my question is, what would you feel? And aside from the feeling, what do you think about that? Okay, so that's it for today's educational vlog. I hope that you enjoyed it, even if it has very compacted with a lot of details and information. But I hope that you learn one or two for this video lesson. And if you are unsure yet with the different formats or with regards to this topic, you can go back again and to view again this educational video. Okay, so if you have any question, please don't be hesitant to comment down your question, and I'll be glad to answer it. Okay, so again, this is Christopher Padlan, and see you to our next educational vlog. Please subscribe, comment, and like this video. Bye!
And I'll go